This is Jet Black from Sweet Release Agency, and you're listening to By the By podcast.
So I was in the shower, I was cleaning my ass and making all dirt all sparkly, spanky clean.
I'm not the funny one, I'm the pretty one.
Cock shots. I just checked myself out.
Candles, music, wine, and then lube up and get on top.
The glory hole's like a dick theater of Imagine Your Friends.
Which means your pants had better come off. Mama needs playtime.
We're not sluts.
We just love love. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Angela.
This is Bradford.
And thanks for joining us for another week here at By the By.
Woohoo.
We have a guest
We do.
today.
It's all exciting.
Yeah.
This guest is, we're really excited to have this guest, as we're always excited to have guests. But this guest has done something really cool. This is I don't know if you call the parent, the mastermind.
Mastermind. I like mastermind.
Mastermind. The
Yeah.
mastermind behind the all-new X Awards, which is Australia's newest... actually, I'm going to I'll let you introduce yourself, tell the folks at home who we're talking to, and what exactly the X Awards are.
Yeah, cool. So for those who may recognize the voice, if not, that's cool. My name is Jet Black. I do keep, I guess, out of the spotlight a fair bit with the adult industry. Most people either have met me before or have heard of me, and it's usually Chinese whispers that, it's the joys of the adult industry. What people read on Twitter, they think is true.
Wait, it's not?
It's not.
I thought everything on the interweb was true.
I know.
Right. And sometimes you just learn not to participate in the drama. You just let the drama unfold, and eventually people remember the name and not the bullshit. So my name's Jet Black. Some people know the name associated with Sweet Release as well, and here in Australia and around the world, which is pretty exciting. Adult business marketing, PR, and all that jazz. And then X Awards, which is our really exciting new mission and baby. Like it's our new exciting project that we're really, really happy to launch in Australia, having spoken to many entertainers and many businesses, people that, are those new up-and-coming businesses in Australia that wanted a program or an awards program that would respect them, that would be inclusive, that would be open to challenging the status quo, because for maybe 15, 20 years there's been awards programs here in Australia that have got a bit of a rap about them in the adult industry, that sometimes the industry gets a bit tired and decides, you know what, I've had enough of that. We want this, and we want something exciting, we want something new, we want fairness, we want equality. And when you keep hearing that over and over again, sometimes it's about time to actually do something about it. So X Awards is a new Australian adult entertainment business awards program designed to encapsulate every possible facet of the adult industry, from sex workers to strippers to burlesque performers to pole dancers to your sex shop down the street to your family businesses, right down the line to swingers parties and nightclubs. We wanted to create an awards program that allowed everybody to participate. I've just seen so many opportunities missed in the adult industry for recognition that, tells everyone's story. And with X Awards, we get to do that. We get to ask the questions, how did you start? How did you get started in industry? What was it that encouraged you to enter an industry that everyone out there who doesn't identify with the adult industry goes, we couldn't possibly talk about that. Sex? What? We don't do that. It's becoming a real closed topic. And for those listeners on By the By today that are in the adult industry, welcome. For those that aren't, hello. You probably hear a lot today that you've never heard before. What is interesting about the ability we're doing with X Awards is we've injected a lot of marketing and PR into this, which is one of the biggest feedback items we got. It was, if I'm going to attend an awards night, I would like the opportunity to be interviewed and tell my story.
Right.
Or I want to, I'm not going to fly interstate to go to an awards show just to have a great meal in a brothel and then watch something happen on stage and the same people win every year. Like, the feedback's been a little bit aggressive and blunt. And us being new, we've had to kind of bear the brunt of that a little bit because we're trying to do something new. And it's really exciting. So it's challenging. It's a little bit scary. Because
Can imagine.
because we're introducing something that the industry's like, oh, hang on, do we want to go down this path again? But the cool thing is that I believe in telling people's stories. Like, my story is interesting. If we want to talk about that, I can digress. I spent 10 years as an escort, 2 years in adult film really early on in my adult industry career, and my connection to the adult industry is what inspired the awards. It was all about how do we create an awards program that tells people's stories, that chips away at this bullshit that, we can't talk about sex. Or you're a sex worker, oh, you're a disgusting fucking animal, you have sex for money, like, why should I respect you? And I, have heard that as an escort, and that's hurt me as a sex worker. So to know that that's a problem out there, to kind of find a way to tell people's stories through blogs, through editorials we're going to put on the website for every nominee that participates, that allows them to tell their story about how they got started, success they've made, problems they've faced, how they chipped away at the diversity issue of, oh, I'm a lawyer and you're a sex worker. Well, we can't be friends. Like, how did you get through that and accomplish what you've accomplished with your business or your career as a sex worker or a performer? And then allow the industry through the nomination process, because the way we're making it work is very popularity contest. I apologise for that. But, that's how all awards programs work.
It's hard to do it another way. I mean, realistically, it is. We were just joking about it before starting recording, like the best anal. Like, how, like, who judges that? It's like, do you have one person that goes and has anal sex with everybody and go, you know what? That's the best.
We had that conversation at the last awards program I attended. I had a conversation with the host that was there, and she was really excited. And again, if you went to the last awards program, that we're not responsible for, and I want to point out that we are not the other awards program. So if you are considering participating in the X Awards, please do. I would love to welcome you with open arms and say, hey, let's forge this new path together to tell your story and get it out there, because it deserves to be told, and you deserve to be recognised, and you deserve to have a platform that respects you and encourages you to keep doing what you do in the industry, because without someone saying, look, I'm here to hold your hand and do that, you're not going to get anywhere, and you're just going to keep becoming this kind of lost child in an adult industry, and you're worried about doing what you're doing, or you're struggling in your career. The X Awards is the perfect platform for you to have that helping hand to help you catapult your career and be taken seriously. One of the, like I said, the host, she was very, how do I get to try that? Like, best anal, come in mouth, like, see, like, or best threesome. How do you prove it? Like, I was even thinking that. I'm like, oh, cool, best porn. Well, do we get to watch it? Like, do we get to sit here and go, oh, okay, that's why your best porn star, you've got a 10-inch cock and I want to ride it. Like, no. And it was interesting that, for categories to be out there that you can't really prove as a country, because it is an Australian awards program. And that's what we're doing with X Awards. Australia first. Hopefully we'll move internationally over the years. It's my plan anyway. Worldwide domination. But I've always been submissive, so I'm hoping I get to dominate something.
That's the line of the podcast right there. That's just brilliant.
I've been submissive all these years. It's time to dominate.
I'm really jealous. I was hoping that you and I would be part of the best threesome, Angela.
I know. Clearly, yeah.
Next year,
we're gonna have to work harder next year. Yeah.
How many more of these things do we have to have?
Wait, is there a category for more than threesome?
the best foursomes and moresomes.
Best groups, just add one. Best plus one. Yes,
that's just great.
But with the award categories, we've eliminated a lot of the categories that even the industry seems to take the piss out of. Like, we've spoken to so many businesses, and some of the nominees even this time round, what categories do you want to see? For example, for our awards program, it's quite different to what most people are used to. They're used to jumping onto a website, choosing whoever they want and ticking something from a category. What we've done with X Awards is we want people to tell us their story and then tell us what categories they believe they should be put up for. So it's not a matter of someone jumping on a website and going, I'm a sex shop, so I deserve to be sex shop of the year. No, fuck that. Because you might have a better story. You might have had a sex shop, but before that, you wrote literature for strippers on how to be an amazing performer that doesn't turn tricks. Because let's face it, the stripping world, when you were burlesque performers and strippers, you didn't have to turn tricks. It wasn't a thing. I've spoken to a stripper who's fantastic from Melbourne, and she told me her story about how she hates the fact that strippers now, these seem to have to fuck on the side. Mm-hmm. Like, that's not what stripping was. Stripping is a performance art. You know, you tease them, you show a bit of nipple, you know, tassels and all, and then that's it.
Yeah.
You know, it's supposed to be classy and tasteful and suggestive and luring, not, you know, cheapened with a bit of sex on the side. Like, not that sex is cheap, because you can charge more. But we've eliminated categories deliberately, and we've asked people for their story because we want to know who you are. We want to know where you came from. We want to know your successes, what you've contributed. Have you given back to the industry that you're part of? Because they're the businesses that deserve the recognition. You know, a business that says they should win Business of the Year purely based on popularity alone, and this is why I'm going back to that point, is because businesses that might have started yesterday that get 3 votes a day from the same person means they win because they got the same person voting 3 times. Our awards program prevents people from voting more than once. So once you vote, that's it. You know, you've got to hope that your customers and your supporters get behind you and your community gets behind you. Your story helps our awards committee, because even though I founded it, I have a team. I've got Simone, I've got Jackson. There's like, it's a family operation that we've got here at X Awards and Sweet Release. And originally it was just me a year and a half ago. You know, fast track to today, we've got clients all over the world, and it's quite overwhelming but exciting at the same time. And it's a massive family business operation of people that are your industry peers. We're not just creatives that know nothing about this world. We're from it, and we're proud to say that we're from the adult industry. And telling your story through the questionnaire in the first phase of the nomination process, you get to tell us why we should recognise you and why we should pay attention. And your story goes on our website. We look at your answers. We look at the categories you've selected. We go, okay, cool. You've created a product. Fantastic. You know, you've got this awesome new product called, for example, I'm happy to quote a few. There's companies out there like Lucid, which created No Grey, for example. And No Grey is this amazing new application for swingers and people into their kinks and BDSMs. And that's a fantastic app that's out there now that's being created in Australia. But they've created an application in a community. So not only are they an application, they're also a thought leader and potentially an ambassador for the industry. So we read your stories and we create the categories based on who's participating and work out what best fits.
You make a really good point as, like, talking about the number of people who vote for you.
Yeah.
Because, you know, again, having been nominated for other awards in the past, I'll never forget looking to vote for ourselves. And you get online, you vote for yourself, and you find best podcast. And in that list, because people, the nominees weren't curated, were sex performers, sex workers and sex performers who we know don't have podcasts.
Yeah.
They're just popular, and somebody nominated them, and without any curation, they got put on there. So they're getting votes. What happens to those votes? Do they just get thrown away?
Yeah.
Do they get considered? Like that's a problem both for people being voted for and for people voting, because it's confusing. So it is nice to see that. And on top of that, talking about the, say, best sex shop, you know, there are shops that we know that are in rural Australia that push very hard to get classes and have people come out and teach these classes and have people come in, and these are in Orange and which, you know, for folks in the US, it is rural Australia.
Even out, I think in Adelaide, I've worked, like, even our brand at Sweet Release, we've worked with a couple of stores out there, some family owned operations. There's you know, I like talking about them because it's exciting, and, you know, this is about the X Awards and stuff, but I'm happy to talk about some of the clients we worked with a company called Adult Bliss Erotica from Adelaide, and, you know, they were owned by, they were a mum and dad operation. Mum wanted to move into the lingerie side, and the father wanted to look after, you know, the adult side of things, and then they sold it to their kids. And it's a family business, not an awesome story.
And those stories should be told more. You're absolutely right. And and those stories get looked over because these big all over Australia, either websites or shops that are in every single, look, I love Club X, but they're everywhere and they're huge. And of course they've got their fan base because they're huge.
And they're everywhere.
And they're everywhere. So
you can watch movies downstairs in the blue room. It's like,
if you want to know more about that, it's like 4 podcasts back. I did it.
Yeah, I think it's interesting, like you said, Bradford, about some of the shops, and let's take that category in particular, but the shops that are in the rural areas that are doing things to try and get people from the community involved and to try and increase knowledge and increase awareness about the industry and just about sex in daily life, even that kind of thing. And it's good. It's important to have a place that they can be recognized for that.
Yeah.
And it's, and it might be tough for them because, especially if they're in smaller areas, to get enough votes, but at least it still puts it out there. And if you put up the blogs and things on the website, then that also gets their story out there.
Exactly.
And that kind of helps people to know what they're doing.
It's kind of what we're working on as well, is that, it's broken into a particular strategy. Like phase 1, you fill out the questionnaire, you choose your categories, you tell your story. Then once we shut the nominations down, it's between nominations and voting, it's happening at the same time. So every nomination that comes through counts as a vote. Once we shut the nominations down, it's a 2-month voting process of just votes. But prior to that, you might have already got in early. So all those people that are voting for you earlier on, they're going to count. We've created a tally system. This tally system means that as votes come through and nominations come through, it's all towards your business and however many categories we believe you should be put into and recognised for. So if you're a sex worker that started yesterday, I'm sorry, you won't win Sex Worker of the Year. It's because you have to earn your stripes, just like I did when I started working in industry 10 years ago. It's, you earn based on your story and what contributions you've made. And if we think you deserve to win something else, like, up and coming or rising star or whatever it might be, then of course you'll be put into the correct categories that way. The other thing that we haven't announced yet, which I'm happy to tell you with the awards program, is that we want the industry to decide who wins. So yes, it is a popularity contest, unfortunately, sorry about it, but we want the industry to actually have a say. So the reason why you fill out those nominee questionnaires and tell us your story is because when we put them on the website, every participant in the awards program decides who they believe should win the category. Obviously, the votes you have coming in from your fans, your customers, the industry, they matter. Yes, because it shows us that you've got the support of your community and your followers and your fans, and you've clearly built a reputation for yourself to have that many supporters out there screaming about your brand, which is exciting. But we also want to know, does the industry respect you as well? Now, that's an important point because there are so many businesses and people in the Australian adult industry, without naming names, because I would, but I won't.
We'd redact it anyway, honey.
But there are people out there that have a reputation for what we like to call cowboys in this industry that have a really terrible reputation for causing problems, male and female and transgender. They're out there. Doesn't matter what gender you are. There are problematic people in the industry all over the world, and Australia has a couple of key people that the industry knows who I'm talking about without naming names, and I've been accused of being one of them, and I think it's just purely down to, misinterpretations and crossfires. But understanding, does the industry respect you? Does another sex shop next door, do they know you exist? Have you built a relationship with them? Like when they read your story on the website, are they going to think it's full of shit, or is it true? We want the nominees that are participating who become our finalists to actually go, hey, that's a fantastic business. We believe they should win that category. And we're allowing finalists to kind of, in a way, be in control of who wins the X Awards. It's not a matter of, popularity contest placement. It's a combination of popularity contest for the silver level X Awards, and what I'm proud to announce is our gold level X Awards. We might change the names, we're getting there. We're thinking platinum sounds a lot better. But we want an industry voted award in every category that, your popularity counts, but we want our finalists to actually have a say. I think that's the one thing that's been missing from the Every Awards program, is allowing the industry to say, we know your business exists. We love your story. we've read about it, and now we believe that hands down you might be competing with me in this same category, but shit, you deserve to win this. You deserve that recognition to actually take out the title of whatever that is in the X Awards. And that's encouraging them to participate a lot more than I think ever's happened before. It's always been popularity and you don't know who's going to win. And yeah, that's exciting because, you know, who could win, you don't know. Allowing the industry to choose adds a whole new level of dimension. I guess it also makes it more transparent and, in a way, regulated. We don't know who's going to win the award categories because once we ask the industry in the voting process who they believe should win, that could change the scope of the game straight away.
Yeah.
Popularity kind of goes out the window because we want the industry's vote to be weighted a lot more than just votes from your fans. It all gets added up. We find the average. You read your story and we work out who should win the gold or platinum. We're getting there. We haven't worked out.
TBD.
To be confirmed. You know, the category that will be specifically decided by the industry. So there will be a popularity award and an industry voted award.
That's an interesting way of doing it.
Yeah, I think it's a great way of doing it.
So how long are nominations open for?
Yeah, so nominations opened a couple of months ago. The nominations shut in September.
Okay.
And then it's pure voting, September, October, and pretty much all the way through to the awards night. And then a week out from the awards night is when we shut the voting down so we can actually count everything up and make sure it's all there, finalise the numbers, prepare for the awards night and actually have everything printed, ready to go because we won't be announcing the winners until the actual awards night. Nothing is released because we want people to attend the awards night. Like, the awards night is all about you as the industry. Like, my job running this thing and bringing it to life is to give you a platform to turn up, jump on that media wall, have your photo taken, talk about your business, because at the end of the day, we want your business in the spotlight. We're just providing the platform for you to do it because we've got the tools and the resources to allow you to tell your story. And that's pretty much what the X Awards is all about. I just want the industry to have a platform and a voice.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So is the award ceremony, is that open only to people in the industry or is that open to anyone?
It was interesting. We had that feedback from people because during the questionnaire, I wanted to make sure we asked the right questions. One, we wanted to know whether people could turn up. You know, we could hold it on a weekday, but we thought weekend worked better because people that are travelling interstate can get here. They can make more of a holiday out of it. It also means people that run shops and brothels and stuff can get here, and if they're doing sex work, they can jump across and do a fly me to you or a tour. So we wanted them to have a bit more fun. One of the questions we asked is if we allowed your friends and family to attend to support you and your profession in the adult industry, would they come? Would you want them there? It was interesting getting the feedback from them that out of the people we canvassed so far, 83% of them have said, we want our friends and family there, and that's the best thing we could ever have, is actually have the support of our loved ones allowed to attend. Because in the past, it's always been industry only.
Right.
In other award programs, not ours. I'm very shady. That's the gay coming out of me. But it's, you know, I respected that feedback because when I think about it, my family's involved in Sweet Release and the X Awards. Like, they're part of the journey. They're part of what we're creating. And there are stores out there and businesses out there that are family owned and operated. Why can't the mum and dad come? So we've allowed the ticket sales to extend to finalists of the awards program because we want people that are following the process for a nominee to confirm that they actually are interested in participating properly and not taking the piss, because we work that out very early and we eliminate you. We want people that are serious about this program because we want this program to be something that's respectable and regulated and enjoyable for everybody to attend. But we also want to chip away at that misconception out there that you can't talk about sex and you can't, you know, respect this industry. It's an issue like every other, and it shits me when people say, you know, oh, we can't talk about sex. Sex is, you know, no-go conversation. The whole reason why the decision was made to allow friends and family to attend of the nominees and the finalists in the awards program was so we can actually introduce that element of respect and transparency between, you know, that fourth wall of this is life, but this is also their life. Like, it shouldn't be black and white. It's coloured. The industry's colourful. So we want family there. So yeah, we've allowed nominees and finalists.
That's
and
great.
Friends and family, if they want to come along and support them, we are open to that. We want them there. So
That's fantastic.
That's great, yeah.
So let's talk categories. How many categories are there? How are you curating that? I know you said that you're going to let the people who are nominated sort of put themselves in categories, which I kind of think is brilliant.
Yeah.
But so tell us about the whole category.
It's been an interesting journey. Our first year with this has been quite bizarre. We allow people to, there was an other, initially in the questionnaire we had an other field, which allowed people to enter the category they believed they should be put in. And we ended up having a lot of duplicates. And I think that's just because the industry, you know, let's face it, when you're putting yourself up for an award, you want the best shot at winning it. So you're going to create multiple different names for something, even if it's the same bloody award.
That's why we would have suggested podcasts starring people named Bradford and Angela. About bisexuality specifically.
Yeah. And the winner is.
Sorry, please continue.
Yeah, but we had a lot of that happening, and I was like, this is fucking annoying. Like, we've got people putting themselves forward for, well, I'm a journalist, and I'm a podcaster, and I'm an author, and I write content for this, and I'm like, fuck it. Call it content creators. Overarch it, because when you do marketing, you kind of learn how to pigeonhole stuff into categories. So we went content creators, content creation or content marketing, and in brackets we've got journalism, whatever. If you take out the category in that and you're a journo or a podcaster or anything like that, well, of course it'll be the title, the main title, and then we'll just put the byline there. And that'll be you and identifying you and what you do. But there's an overarching category. So what we've done with some of the award categories is we've shrunk the categories. Originally we had 80. And that was
Holy
just...
crap, that's a lot.
That was, I'm fucking wrong. We wanted to cover every aspect of the industry, and we were like, oh, okay, cool. So there's gay sites, trans sites, directories, escorts, brothels, kink, BDSM, swingers, bisexual, I'm like, oh my God, like we've gone overboard with the categories. We've gone film, audio, best music, best... And I'm like, okay, you know what? We don't have that much in Australia yet.
And now for the best interpretive dance to gay porn. That's where it's like, wait, what? Like, how is that possible? It's a very niche category.
Yeah, all right. So it was a combination of us having to go, you know what? Yes, it was fun to kind of do that, but then as the awards programs built a bit of popularity in the industry, people talking about it more. Like we still have people nominating every day, and we see new businesses pop up in the system every day. It doesn't matter, 1 a.m. in the morning, we get nominations coming through. We're like, oh, we didn't even think that business would want to participate because they've been burnt before in other programs. And they're slowly realising, I think, that this is new and, give it a go. But we've gone from 80 categories down to, I believe it's sitting around the 30 category mark. What we've done is we've consolidated the categories by, like I said, people choose the categories they believe they should be in. So if there's a sex worker that offers disability services, for example, and they do a lot of disability work and they're a sex worker, but they're also a coach. There are people out there that do similar stuff to what Sweet Release does, and they're a sex worker and they coach as well. So we put them into content creation, and there might be a support service or a support business, so that people might be nominated into 3 or 4 categories. It means they're up against everybody else that's in the similar categories as well. But we had to kind of put a stopper to allowing people to put themselves into best receptionist and best admin, best brothel manager. It might sound rude to those that have participated in other awards programs where they had the option to be best receptionist, and I totally understand that. However, it's an entertainment business awards program, and there aren't many people at this stage putting themselves forward as a receptionist to be voted for best receptionist, for example. So some of the categories we've had to unplug because we don't want people competing with themselves. It illegitimises the program if we have people in award categories, like you said, if you buy the Bi podcast, it's bisexuals, by Angela, by Bradford, you're going to win, right? So we had to make it fair in a way that allowed competition, healthy competition and conversation, but it also meant that just because you're putting yourself into a niche category doesn't mean you're going to bloody win it. because it's not fair in a way.
Right.
It's kind of like
There
you're winning, but you're also a loser.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
you won by default.
Yeah.
The two greatest words in the English language: default.
Yeah, there has to be some kind of competition. And
Yeah, right.
Yeah, because we want to encourage the conversation.
Yeah.
We want it to be fun, but we also don't want people to think, oh, it's rigged. Because I've heard that so much over the last, 6 to 7 months we've started working with this new project. We keep getting told, oh, rigged. And I'm like, the reason it's not rigged is because we're allowing you to have a say in what categories you believe to be in, but you have to give us your story. If you don't give us a good story, we'll slot you into what we think you should be in. And then that kind of might feel rigged, but if you don't participate, well, it's your fault.
Yeah.
Like, we want you to take ownership of the program and navigate your own journey and be upfront about your experience because, just because it's popularity and industry voted and we've sponsored, we've got some great sponsors behind this. Like, our first year running, we've got Empire Industry Finance as a sponsor, one of Australia's best accounting firms who is run by sex workers. They know the industry, and it's just amazing to have people like Linda from Empire involved as a sponsor. We've got Naughty Ads, for example, which is an escort directory who's jumped on board as a sponsor as well, which is exciting. They're getting involved because they're an Australian platform. They're relatively new to directory services and they offer everything, male, female, transgender, and they understand the industry. Like, come on, like, how many directories out there actually say we know the industry because we're from it? Like,
Yeah.
they're not just trying to make a buck. So it's pretty cool. We've got some cool sponsors behind it. Even like Sweet Release, we're throwing money at it. So there's a lot of cool sponsors, and some more you'll find on the website, and plenty more that I can't talk about because they're yet to pay to sponsor the event. So until then, but
To be determined.
Come on, folks, pony up.
But yeah, it's legit. I'm losing track because I get excited talking about.
No, that's good. Your excitement
Yeah.
is contagious, so that's a good thing as well. So, again, back to categories. Like,
Yeah.
what are like some of the big categories? Are we looking at? Is it more like, again, performer of the year? Is it more like? I don't know. I'm trying to think. Like, I'm looking at the. Comparing it to award ceremonies that I'm familiar with,
Yeah, like
the Tony Awards and the Oscars.
Or you think of things like AVNs, for example.
Yes.
And- yeah, for sure.
So, what are the big ones that people can look forward to?
Yeah, like I said, we took out all the tongue-in-cheek, crass ones because we wanted the industry to come across more respectable. I think
Because I didn't win Best Anal, and I'm very pissed off
Yeah.
at that. And I'm just saying, if that was tongue in cheek, tongue in cheek.
See, Bradford missed out on that category, so we decided it would be best to remove the category.
Thank you. I appreciate that. You heard it here first, folks.
It's interesting. I think a lot of people are expecting it to be similar to other programs. We wanted to make this like a business awards. We've got categories like best stripper, best brothel. Like, it's I think it might sound very samey or boring, but we've taken all of the sex categories out. We've got, best porn star, male, female, trans. I think what we've tried to do with our program, rather than create overarching strategies and categories, sorry, not strategies, our strategy behind the awards was to make sure that everyone got a chance to be seen. In the past, we've seen porn star categories, cam stars.
Right.
And
Yeah.
it's been generalised. It's been very cam star. Okay, that's nice, but, a male and a female and a transgender do different stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
Why can't we break that down? So we've created categories, for example, in porn star, we've got male, female, trans. In escort, we've got male, female, trans. In cam, because we believe cam is a separate category to film,
Agreed.
we've made a cam star category. And we're surprised to see that we've got some escorts in Australia that are actually camming. If you've got those platforms out there where you pay a subscription, $10 a month, whatever it is, and you go on there and you create your own content. There are a lot of people out there. We've got a lot of transgender cam stars in Australia, which is exciting. That
Yeah.
finally we've got, we've created an awards I'm excited by it because we're creating this fluidity in the industry with our awards program and saying it's okay to participate and it's okay to talk about it because I think even the industry sometimes gets ashamed of talking about what they do. The gender diversity we're creating in the awards is is exciting. That's what I'm really looking forward to.
That's fantastic.
And also showcasing people that have been in the industry. The ambassador category is interesting as well, to actually allow businesses to put themselves and entertainers and escorts into that. But once we read this story and find out why, we're like, well, no, you shouldn't be put forward for that. But then the other stories we read, we're like, holy shit. Like, you've been in the industry for 30 years and you've told us that you've done all of this work. How come no one is talking about this? Like, you inspired change. And I think what will be the most exciting part about X Awards, not so much the categories, is actually the fact that the stories that are going to come out of this, from everyone's contribution to the industry, I think that is where the excitement sits. It's not so much in, best escort, best porn star, best business, brothel, retail, online store, best new business, best app. We've got all of these different categories, and I kind of like to drop the best bit off it and just go app. I think, no one can ever be the best. You're always striving to improve every year, every day that you work in this industry. So you're best one day and shit the next, but
It's true.
But, we wanted to have the stories because the stories are what's stronger. Winning the award's great because you're getting recognition. Attending the awards night, you're going to get recognition. We wanted that media wall and those interviews and the stories to be up because nothing is better than PR. When it comes to this industry, people are talking about it. You get them to talk about it. You turn up to the awards. You interview on the red carpet. You tell us your story in 5 minutes. We create that video content. You get that to promote your business. We take photos. We promote you there. You win an award. You get the award. The cool thing, I think this is the exciting fact of our awards program as well, is legitimacy is also amplified by how we've decided to do the award itself. So when you win an award, it's not a matter of getting a paperweight that's engraved, that's been floating around for 20 years. And, anyone could buy that from AliExpress for $5 and engrave it themselves and say they won. We are creating an award that is coded. So when you win an award with the X Awards, and even if you're a finalist or a runner-up, because we're allowing that in our first year, if we think you just got short of winning an award, you will be a runner-up winner. So there will be winners and secondary winners, is when you get your certificate and our trophies, which is exciting, something to put on the mantle. There's a code that's attached to like a 6-digit PIN number and a bunch of letters and stuff on the bottom corner of the certificates that are issued. Now, for entertainers, that's a big thing. And for businesses it is as well. If you're looking for investors in your business and you can say, look, we won an award program and we got all these votes, and you get asked, can you prove it? What better way than to jump onto a website, enter the code number and have your story come up that you shared about why you deserve to win as a finalist, and the award and your video interview and your photograph from the awards night that actually goes, wow, you actually won something, you were recognised for it, and we can actually see your story. Like, that's what this awards program is all about. It's about legitimacy and public relations and spreading the word no matter what part of the industry you're in. And I'm excited to actually to create this awards program that, when someone says they won, you can actually prove it.
That's a great idea.
To be able to prove you won, like if you're an escort looking for work and you want to work at the top brothels and you want to work at those fly me to you agencies where you get to fly to Canada, where you can get away with working as a sex worker at the moment, touch wood, for as long as we can, flying internationally and being those, companions, luxury companions at those elite escort agencies that do model-esque escorts out to high flyer people. You can flash that piece of paper and your link to the website and your story and prove, I won an award in Australia. I am an award-winning escort. I am an award-winning entertainer or an award-winning business. You should send your products to us because we have a great profile in Australia. To actually legitimise that for them is exciting for us to actually give them that platform to shine in the industry.
The other interesting side to that is not only are you legitimizing the person who won, you're legitimizing Australian sex industry.
Yes.
Which is really, that's a kind of what you're creating is this really nice spiral, this cycle of promoting the individual while promoting the community and it feeds back off each other. And I think that's
You're smart. You
that's
know
exciting.
my strategy. I don't have to say anything.
It's really exciting, though.
Yeah.
And
It's an interesting thing, Bradford, you pointed out, is that when you look at the Australian adult industry and you look at the US, because, let's face it, we copy everyone from the US. It's interesting that when it comes to the Australian adult industry, we are such a small industry compared to America.
Yeah.
Let's face it, the US, massive.
Yeah.
Like, you look at the AVN Awards, they run it at casinos and all that sort of stuff, and they get chosen to be there, and it's sponsored by heavy-hitting directors and stuff. We don't have that here yet. Hopefully, as the X Awards grows, we will have, that opportunity to create that. And by legitimising it and bringing the Australian adult industry to the surface will help the Australian adult industry be taken seriously. Because we have, let's face it, I've spoken to producers and companies in the US that, in a roundabout fashion, take the piss out of the Australian adult industry because they don't take it seriously. They think that our industry is a little bit of a, where is it? Mm-hmm. Firstly, because, it's bigger here in the States. So if we can't see you in Australia, well, then therefore it doesn't exist. There is that little bit of, misinterpretation of our adult industry. And I think it's just because it hasn't had a chance to be seen.
Yeah. So if you make it more visible, you normalize it a bit.
Yeah. Like exactly.
Bring that out.
Everybody grows.
Yeah, and that's our goal. Our goal is, as a public relations agency with this awards program, is to help the adult industry in Australia get seen. Mm-hmm. We work with so many clients overseas. It's about time that the Australian adult industry gets a profile to shine too.
So
that's where we're from. We're from Melbourne.
I was gonna say, let's talk about that a little bit, but before we switch gears, where can people find the X Awards?
Yeah, so the X Awards, we're all over social media. We made sure that was our we wanted to be everywhere, let's face it. So X Awards is online. You can go to Google and type it in, X Awards Australia, or you can go to our website, xawards.com.au. Okay. Voting and nominations are open, so check it out. If you go to the categories page, you'll get an idea for roughly what the categories are. We're still, in our first year, we are nutting out categories that we are 100% keen on and which ones we aren't. Because nominations are still open, it means that every day we have new businesses come in and we're like, well, we're about to delete that category, but you know what? We should keep it because now there's more businesses in it. So until the nominations close in September, we really don't know how many categories we'll have. We might end up with more as the industry hears about it, and as they realise that we are not the other awards program, we are the new awards program that you need to be involved in, because it's going to take Australia and put it on the map in the industry. It really will. X Awards online on our website and social media. You'll find us on Twitter, you'll find us on Instagram, and you'll find us on Facebook. Again, just type in X Awards AU. It's the same everywhere. We've tried to make it very easy for you to find us. Pretty much. And hashtag us if you're listening to the podcast. Yeah. Let us know. Hashtag X Awards AU, and we'll retweet you.
Excellent,
yes. And if you're already following them, you may have noticed that some of your favorites have been nominated for things like Our Secret Spot, I know, has been in Sydney. And then, there's this little podcast called By the By.
Yeah, who would have thought?
I know, who would have thought?
But it's fantastic. And I'm glad that you guys are nominated as well. It's really exciting.
It was surprising because we didn't nominate ourselves. So that means somebody out there, thank you whoever did that, but somebody nominated us, which was sweet.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
There you go.
I know. I'm one of those people, I do not like nominating myself because
you're terrible at self-promotion.
Well, I think it takes away some of the legitimacy of it. If you have to nominate yourself, that means that I'm not judging anybody who nominates themselves.
There were a few that did it this year. It's all right.
But it was surprising when it was when you first messaged, I was like, somebody nominated us. So that was great.
Yeah. It's awesome. I'm really excited that there's a platform like you guys out there doing what you do, because this is the whole reason why we exist.
Just try to normalize.
Yeah, trying to normalize it. Make sure that we can all talk about the sexy stuff.
Yeah.
You want to talk about Sweet Release, aren't you?
Yes.
Let's talk about Sweet Release.
Well, let's take a break first, real quick.
A commercial break?
Yes.
Commercial break. Time for some water.
I'm Jace.
I'm Emily.
And I'm Dedeker.
And with our powers combined,
we are the Multi-Amory Podcast. If you're happy with the same old ways of dating,
if you enjoy sucking at communication,
and you have no desire to improve your romantic life, then our podcast might not be for you.
But if you want some out-of-the-box ideas to deepen your current relationships,
broaden your sexual horizons,
develop a better understanding of yourself,
or learn more about non-monogamy,
then come check out the Multi-Amory Podcast on the Swingset Network at swingset.fm, the Swingset FM Android app, or at multiamory.com.
And we're back.
I love how that works.
I know. It's like this time warp thing. I don't know. So you've mentioned a few times that you have this company, Sweet Release.
Yeah.
Sweet Release. I can't even say it.
Easy for you to say.
I know.
Try saying it faster. No, it's a bit of a
five times fast.
Sweet Release, Sweet Release, Sweet Release.
I have problems with R's. I can't do that.
It's adorable when she says wee wees. It's actually sweet. Okay.
Anyway, so Sweet Release, it's a marketing PR firm. How would you describe it? What are you doing with the company?
It's full service. Sounds
aren't we all?
We're full service. Call now. But we're a bit of everything. We're your marketing, advertising geeks. I think that's what Ron Jeremy called us at Sexpo. So we went to Sexpo and interviewed him about his time in the adult industry, and he said more and more these days in the adult industry we need marketing geeks. So I would refer to us as, as much as people don't like the word geek, we're the adult industry marketing geeks that you can trust for marketing such as strategy, branding, creating a brand, getting your identity out there, digital advertising, SEO, that digital science on search engine optimization. If you're an escort or a business that needs a website, where you go. We build websites for escorts and brothels and saunas, and we just picked up a few clients that do sex dolls, which needed help with SEO, and that's a niche market in its own.
Holy smokes. Hey, sex doll people, if you need somebody to test your materials out, just call us.
They're so realistic.
Some of them
I'm waiting for them to send me one. They got boy ones and girl ones, and I'm like, I wonder what the cock feels like on the guy one. Like, I'm really excited about that.
I sort of want to take one of the boy ones and one of the girl ones and make them have sex in front of me.
Some of them make noises too.
I know.
It sounds real.
I know. I just don't have 10 grand.
As well. Some of them are body temperature, so you've touched them and it actually feels like skin.
Which is kind of cool. Like, if you look at it as a tool or a toy or something like that, it's really cool technology.
I mean, this isn't the podcast for it, but looking at it from a peoples with disabilities point of view.
Exactly.
That is, if you've been, or people who've suffered trauma, sexual trauma, that allows you to have sex with someone that is it's a gap or a gateway.
I was gonna say it's a gateway to intimacy and to be able to establish that.
And it's a lot of people. That was when we picked up these clients that did sex dolls. It was really bizarre because there's a lot of hostility out there about that product. People, like there's some women out there that are a bit, they have an opinion of there's a doll, it's a woman, I'm a woman. You can't replace the real thing. But then, like you said, Bradford, and, Angela, when you said disabilities.
Yes.
Trauma.
Yeah.
Yes, that is, I think that's purely where the product comes from. Yeah, it's a fetish as well. But the people that have trauma or sexual abuse and have had issues where sex is becoming a bit of an issue for them, or they want to try something new.
It's painful.
Like, exactly. And it allows people to do that. I even know there's customers out there that have menopause and, the pain of that for their vagina with a sex doll that allows them to experience sex some way without, for them, the feeling of embarrassment from their partner because, things might be tightening up a little bit. And you've also got people out there that have been sexually assaulted. You've also got people that are experiencing changes sexually. Yeah. Do I want to have sex with a man? I'm a straight guy that wants to experiment. Well, the sex doll gives you that opportunity to make it feel more real. And PTSD, I've got that.
It's a great product.
Yeah.
It's exciting to have products out there like that on the market and to kind of be in the driving seat to bring that to the surface is pretty cool. So yeah, we do a bit of everything. It's interesting the clients we get, but I'd say to sum it up, we're digital marketing and advertising for the adult industry.
And it's not just Australia based, right? It's worldwide that you have customers?
Well, initially I thought, let's focus on Australia. I had a handful of clients at the very beginning, way before we even started Sweet Release. We wanted to provide marketing and advertising to everybody. Like, I'd been a sex worker for 10 years. I did my adult film career very early on because I was too young at the time to understand what that meant. I wanted the money, I wanted the sex, and I was like, yeah, I'll sign. Got paid cash, had sex in an apartment building, got filmed, never saw the movie. Don't remember it. I was with 2 German guys and they were quite hung. I wish I could find it.
Well, you don't need to see the movie because you lived it.
Yeah, I know, right? And I got the money out of it. It was a day. KFC or porn. Well, you know what? I made more money in a film than I did working behind there going, would you like chicken? Like, would you like, nuggets or something? I made more money playing with their nuggets. And
a different kind of nugget.
Different kind of nugget, yeah. They're two-piece feed. It's like...
Where I'm from, KFC is Kentucky Fried Cock.
Yeah, exactly.
Wait a minute.
Wait, you don't want to fry that.
No, you want to fry that.
Just to jump in real quick, because I think a lot of people probably don't understand why SEO is important for sex workers, because I know... Before I got into the podcasting, the Google world, so SEO is search engine optimization. It's what helps your sites appear high on the list when you search for something on on search engine Googles, on search engines like Google. And I'm sure there's some others out there, but who else uses those? But when I'm sorry, duck what? Let's just ask Jeeves. That shows my age.
Oh, I remember that. They had a little cartoon man.
Yeah. And he had a little, in
his little butler suit. Yes.
Yeah. Hashtag old. But, I think a lot of people don't realize that, because if you search sex and porn, you get sex and porn. But if you're looking for a sex worker, those kind of websites can be pushed down and the porn can be pushed up over them because of this specific keywords or things that Google thinks that you probably shouldn't be looking for. I think a lot of folks assume that Google, I think it's maybe changing now, is this open platform that treats everyone equally, and they are not.
No, and
they curate what you can see.
It's very curated. When it comes to SEO, time and time again, businesses try and do it themselves. Or they try and skimp out and pay the least they possibly can to get something done because they believe, oh, you know what, I don't quite understand it, but I'll pay less and this company is charging, $90. So, it's no risk to me because I don't understand this data science shit. Where they go wrong is that, like you said, Google doesn't treat them equally.
No.
And as... I think a rule of thumb to remember when it comes to online marketing for the adult industry is that the internet has the age of a 16-year-old. And yes, some 16-year-olds are out there fucking around. Like, I was escorting quite early. So, but, telling too many secrets on here.
Ixnay on the illegal escorting net.
Let's scrap that. No, let's keep that. Keep it in there. It's fine. Stuff it. I'm honest. It's interesting that people have this perception that it's my website, and so therefore I own that space. What they forget to realise is that they do not own where that website goes. So yes, you have a website. It's fantastic. Awesome. You're selling sex toys, you're selling yourself, whatever it might be. But the search engines, you are not the owner of that. Just because you bought a domain name, created a fantastic website, or you asked us to build it, which will look even better, trust us, you run the risk of putting words into that, like you said, that push you down. And once you get bumped down, it's very hard to bump back up. The other problem is that as the age of the internet is becoming younger and younger, as the internet becomes more accessible around the world and the people on it are, 12-year-olds, whatever. The search engines are trying to regulate that to prevent them from being exposed to certain content. You'll see that now with Instagram even, where now you put something up and your account gets closed and you might have 50,000 followers and it's gone all because of one wrong hashtag or a nip slip.
Yeah.
Whereas before, on Tumblr, you could put whatever you want.
Yeah.
Tumblr was Pornhub. Now Pornhub is the only Pornhub. Pornhub, RedTube, XTube, whatever. But Tumblr was where you went for making your own homemade stuff. Can't use it anymore. Porn's gone from Tumblr. Instagram, same thing. Unless you lock your account, you run the risk of losing your account. Search engines with SEO, search engine optimization, wanky words, but the short end of the stick is the words you put on your website to help you get up in the search results to page 1 of Google. Using words like sex, bitch, cunt, fuck, sex toys, cum, slut, anything like that. When you're in the adult industry, you kind of go, well, it's my site. Like, these are the services I offer. Come in mouth, come on boob, whatever. But the search engines don't want to see it.
Right.
And so what happens is these businesses try and think that they own the world and the web and, your ego gets in the way because it's my business and I'm in charge. SEO is really a risky move. If you make one mistake, your whole website can vanish from the search results. And we've had businesses come to us and go, I should have gone for you at the start. I knew you were dearer, but I thought I could get it done somewhere else. And then I did it somewhere else and they didn't quite understand that the words that I used on my site would cause a problem. Mm-hmm. And what happened is that their adult retail store vanished from the search results. Ooh. Their website was still alive. Their traffic went down and they're like, all else is gone crickets. It's like, lights are on, nobody's home. Yeah. And this situation happened where they fell out of the search results. They brought the website to us. We had a look and we're like, your website's been blacklisted from the search engines. They don't have to tell you that they do that. And what happens is, for the business, quite sad really, is that if they've spent all that money on SEO somewhere else from someone that thought, I worked in retail, real estate, whatever, and, sex sells sex. Unfortunately, it doesn't. Mm-hmm. So using those words got them blacklisted. It meant that company particularly had to buy a new domain, had to rebuild their website, had to recreate a new brand, had to re-register the business name. So if you're in Australia, ASIC, new ABN, new ACNs, company numbers, and start all over again. After 15 years in the game, they wanted to go into the online retail, where they wanted to have their business and lost their position in the web purely because of bad SEO. And it's sad when we see that because we kind of have to be the ones that go, look, as much as you think you're in control of your website and what you put on there, you've caused a lot of damage without even knowing. Mm-hmm. And sometimes you outsource it or do it yourself without, you go on WikiHow and you're like, how do I do my own SEO? Right. Go for it. You know, there are resources out there. You can teach yourself, but the problem is those resources don't tell you how to do it for this industry. Yeah. And so that's the problem that businesses face. And as a result, they vanish and they fuck up their companies. And we've had escorts that have egos. And they're like, I want my own website, I want my own photos, I want to look like the best bitch in town, and I want all these bookings. I'm sick of being on Scarlet Blue, and I'm sick of being on this platform and competing with all these escorts. I want my own home on the World Wide Web. And they tend not to listen to reason when we try and discourage them from writing their services specifically on their website. Mm-hmm. And what happens is that they go against the grain. I know better because I've been promoting on Lacanto my ads and here my ads, and I write whatever I want. It never gets taken down. And generally what happens is that they go against the grain, don't listen to our solid advice that's proven and tested, and lose their websites because of, word use in SEO. And it's not one of the main things we do at Sweet Release, but it's probably one of the biggest issues this industry has is doing it properly.
Well, it's, you've already touched on it. It is extremely expensive to have to recreate. Once you've been blacklisted, once you're blacklisted, you can't be unblacklisted.
It's really, and asking politely even, like when Instagram, like we had the same issue at Sweet Release. After 2 years on Instagram, thousands of followers, great content, we never tripped anything up. Even we got removed from Instagram recently, so social media marketing. Our Instagram got shut down because we support the adult industry, not because of the content we had.
Yeah.
And we argued, and that didn't mean anything. It's like, no, everybody deleted it. And I'm like, we had like a lot of relationships built on there, and our brand kind of relies on social media a little bit to push through that fourth wall of, you know, what mainstream accepts as being acceptable industry. And when your Instagram gets shut down from those conversations, you got to start all over again.
It's really frustrating how, and this is a whole nother podcast we could do on the conservatism behind the internet. Because I think a lot of people think the internet is this sort of no holds barred and
Completely open.
it's completely open. You can do whatever you want. And it's this dirty, nasty, wonderful place. But in fact, it is.
There's a lot of regulation.
It's all regulation.
Yeah.
And Instagram is the worst. Like, I love Instagram just to go on and see, again, sex workers and actors and photographers and, like you said, making these connections with people. But the some of the pictures that we've put up that have gotten taken down, you know, you look at them and there is nothing wrong with them. And a couple of the times where they're like, we took this down, you know, I go to their rules and regulations and then screenshot it and say, look at the picture, nothing falls.
Where does it
and
say?
then they're like, it's open to interpretation. I'm like, that is not what your TOCs
It's so
say.
biased.
Yeah, I'm like, your terms and conditions say, it's just like who was it in the Supreme Court who said, I can't tell you what porn is, but I know it when I see it. Like, that was great at the time. That's bullshit now. Like,
Yeah.
I think people get so, like you said before, we touched on, you know, when you go to Google, you can type in whatever you want and porn comes up first.
Yeah.
I'd like you say there, I believe people look at that and go, oh, well, it's so easy to find porn.
Yeah.
So maybe it's not regulated, but it's a beast. Search engines are a beast. And with SEO, our clients get the shits all the time because we might move the needle a little bit and they get great results. Like overnight.
Yeah.
Click of the fingers, it's there. Wow, you know, we went from this to this. And then sometimes it's a little bit slower. And that process of implementing keywords and changing the backlinks, which is links on other sites that point to you that are good, not shit. And that's a science in itself. That they don't see results as quickly and they get paranoid. It's like, well, I'm paying you all this money. What's happening? And it's because the search engines are constantly changing their algorithm. And it's not that the work's not happening behind the scenes. It's just that it's taking a little bit longer to get that boom that you got on day one. And it's just moving the needle and changing the words and reframing things around to make it work. And it's purely because of that conservative approach online that we're constantly up against as a marketing agency for this industry to make it work. And that's why sex workers can't say in open language on their titles of their websites, I am a sex worker.
Right.
Yeah.
You have to write companion or girlfriend experience because, you know, let's face it, we know what GFE is.
Yeah.
And we, you know, PSE, like you can skirt around the edges of the words you use. You've just got to do it in a way that works. And some words are more ranked higher and some words aren't. And you need to write in the language of the people searching. It's one of the biggest, I think, you know, tips I can give people is that if you're trying to do your own SEO and your own marketing, good for you. Go for it. I'm not discouraging it at all. Especially if you're starting out. Like Sweet Release, we're not cheap. That's because we know what we do and we do it well. And professionally, yeah. Thank you. But, you know, if you want to give it a go yourself and see if there's movement, write in the language of your customer. Don't write in the language of yourself because you know your business, you know your products, you think
or
you
the
know.
industry language.
Correct.
Yeah.
Industry language doesn't work. If people are looking for escorts, you know, for example, if you're an escort directory and you're not quite known, why the hell are you expecting people to find you based on the name of your business?
Right.
If you're a brothel, why do you think people know the name of your brothel? They're not searching for you specifically. They're searching for the service, not the location.
Yeah.
So you have to think differently about how you write. If you're a brothel, well, okay, cool. You're a brothel, for example, in Springvale, Victoria. So why would you use the name of your brothel? You would go brothel in Springvale, escorts in Springvale. That should be the title of your website, or at least a page on there. So search engines find it because that's what someone's searching because they want an escort in Springvale or an escort in Melbourne. Things like that, just slight adjustments, because if you're saying, you know, we're the best brothel in blah, or you're starting everything with name of business and then saying it, you know, no one's searching specifically for your business until they know it.
Yeah.
And same with escorts in Sydney, or, you know, luxury companion in Sydney. it's just certain words you have to use in order to get around that conservative thing, but also writing in the language of what people are looking for.
Yeah.
Cool.
Awesome.
So how can people listening here get a hold of you for your services for the Suite Release?
Yeah.
So that you can fix their SEO issues.
So yeah, like I touched on before, we do way more than just SEO. So if you ask...
Sorry.
Yeah, you're right. We do a bit of everything. But, you know, in terms of SEO and digital advertising and your marketing, branding, if you need a photographer that's comfortable working with sex workers, if you need a videographer and you want to do tasteful video work and, you know, you want to book a hotel room somewhere, have a videographer turn up and drop rose petals on you in slow motion as you caress your titties in a great set of lingerie by Honey Burdette or Kiss Kill, whatever it might be.
How do I sign up for that?
You know, just giving you ideas.
I love this.
You want lingerie on you, Brett?
Yes. Mangeray, thank you.
But, you know, that sort of content, if it's anything from creative, from design, your logo, your website, your SEO, think about anything out there that makes a mainstream business successful. And one day, I really hope that the adult industry becomes mainstream too. It's an industry like all the others. I don't believe this should be an umbrella for the adult industry and an umbrella for everything else. I think we should all be under the same fucking thing, which is why Suite Release exists. We exist because we're giving you the services that all the other bloody businesses have access to. Why don't we?
Yeah.
So if you're trying to find Suite Release, just type us into search engines. Even if you type in like business marketing services or adult business marketing in Google, we're the first page of Google because we did our own SEO. So
love it. Brilliant.
you know, in terms of finding us, you can find us at Suite Release. So that's release to let go, .agency. A lot of people think it says Sweet Relief when I say it on the phone. I'm terrible with my diction. So sweetrelease.agency, or you can give us a call. We have a 1300 number here in Australia. It's 1300 50 88 12. And again, social media, you'll find us on Twitter and Facebook. And again, we're on Instagram. It's taken a while for us to recreate that. But again, we've kept it simple. So it's just Suite Release AU, AU for Australia.
Excellent.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and we're based in Melbourne, so it means that, you know, if you're trying to find someone local that can work to your time zone, sorry, Perth, it's a couple of hours difference there. We do have clients in Perth that we do get up early for, just so, or we stay open later, just so we're in line with their time zone. If you need someone local in Australia, even if you want to give us a call, like, you know, you're hesitant about spending money on marketing and advertising, but you want guidance, give us a call. We will give you a, 20, 30 minute. If you love the conversation, you'll get an hour out of us for free. We will point you in the direction of what you should be doing. We'll even look at what you're currently doing and go, look, this is a few things you can do to make it better. Whatever it takes to help you onto the right track. We're there for you in the industry. It's why I created the company that we've created and allowed my family to be part of that and really help the industry have access to what seems to be taken away by everybody else out there that doesn't respect or understand the adult industry. So, yeah.
Excellent.
Passionate about it.
That's cool. And it's great, and it comes through, and it is. I think you're absolutely right. It's a niche market, but is an extremely important market.
Yes.
Yeah. Everyone has access.
They deserve to be treated just like everybody else. I mean, so nothing. Yeah, we could go on and on.
I know. I could talk forever.
So a huge thank you to Jet. For coming and chatting with us about the X Awards, about Suite Release. If you have questions about the X Awards or Suite Release, you can pipe them through us if you can't get a hold of Jet Black through one of those forums venues. You can email us, theatomsoflove@gmail.com, or you can reach us on all of our social medias, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. We are at By the By Podcast. And if you like what we do, we hope you do, please support us, www.patreon.com/bythebypodcast. We really, really appreciate it. Yeah, that's how you can get your hands on your own dirty little cum rags. Yeah. Yours are clean. The dirty ones are extra.
Yeah, thank you for joining us.
No worries, thank you
It's
so
been really
much.
great.
Yeah.
We've definitely learned a lot.
Yeah, we have. So, and I'm sure we'll be in touch.
Yes.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you.
Hi, this is Dedeker, co-host of the Multiamory podcast. We offer new ideas and advice for multiple forms of love, everything from conscious monogamy to ethical polyamory and radical relationship anarchy. And you're listening to a Swingset Network podcast. Find us and much more at swingset.fm.